Hello and welcome to Mondays with Maria Gould. Today we are joined by Beth Haley. Today is March the 16th and it is podcast 53. So let me introduce my beautiful friend and soul sister, Beth Haley. She is a lifelong learner. Beth's multidisciplinary approach to wellness began as a quest for self-healing and personal transformation. Book learning was fine, but it wasn't until she began attending experiential classes over the course of her journey that she combined her own knowledge with what she was learning and started to put these things into practice. The result were powerful changes. Reactions to old wounds and hurts shifted. Isn't that what healing really is? We just stop getting so reactive. And in 2001, Beth began sharing her own experiences and knowledge professionally, assisting others to find answers and healing of their own. She has taken many training classes in Theta Healing, Psyche, Ho'opono. Can you help me with that one?
Ho'oponopono.
Oh, Ho'oponopono. Yes. Life enhancement coaching, Reiki, body talk, and has been a Monroe Institute trainer since 2010. So let's kind of start there. Hello, Beth. Welcome to Mondays with Maria. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thanks so much, Maria, for inviting me to be part of your wonderful podcast.
Oh, thank you for being here. So we've known each other many years, like over 10 years now. We join monthly to share healing with each other, so it's so amazing. So I wanted to get you on because I am so curious about the Monroe Institute, because I found out a while ago through you, really, that the CIA actually approached the Monroe Institute to study consciousness. So could you tell the listeners and me, educate all of us on who started the Monroe Institute? What was that objective? Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Absolutely. The Monroe Institute was started by a gentleman named Robert Monroe, and he was a radio station owner and producer of radio programs back in the 1950s, and he wrote, the old Green Hornet and Only the Shadow Knows radio programs.
Oh, cool.
And he was experimenting with learning and used his radio station to record his own voice to give him learning at night, because that was kind of a big thing back in the 1950s, learning, at night in your own voice. So he did that, and part of the recordings he made for himself were that he would remember everything that happened to him throughout the night. And then he started having experiences, and one day he was kind of dreaming about going hang gliding and, thinking about how wonderful it would feel, and then found himself floating against the ceiling. So that made him very nervous. This kind of thing wasn't broadly talked about in the 1950s by multimillionaire businessmen anyway.
Yeah.
And, he went to see his doctor and psychiatrist thinking he was either dying or going a little nuts, and then realized that one of his friends shared with him what he was describing would actually happen, a lot in the Eastern religion practices. Mm-hmm. So Bob was, a businessman again, and had children, and just he couldn't see himself taking a year off to go to India to study with someone there. And so he had the finances, and he started bringing everybody that he knew to kind of try to experience some of the things that he was experiencing. And he had a young physicist named Tom Campbell and a young electrical engineer named Dennis Meinrich, who were there working with him. They had gone to visit Bob because they'd read his book. He printed a book in the 1970s, Journeys Out of the Body, and I actually read Journeys Out of the Body. I got it from my school library and read it in high school in 1979, and thought, after I read that book, wow, it'd be really cool to go there.
Oh, that's divine timing right there. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, Tom and Dennis worked with Bob, and Bob had noticed, because he would take the commuter train back to New York back and forth from his residence to his office, and that people would fall asleep on the commuter train. So he created a sound called pink noise. And during their experiences, Tom and Dennis did all kinds of interesting things in the lab. They were working with Bob 20 to 30 hours a week, some weeks, in addition to doing their full-time daytime job, and built a lot of the lab equipment. And it's all new now, but a lot of what they did back then is still on the records and stuff. And I've Tom Campbell has been one of my mentors. I'm so blessed. He's been such a wonderful, positive influence. I've been so blessed to meet so many of the amazing people that pass through the Monroe Institute, take classes with them. Eben Alexander and Natalie Sudman, and just some amazing people that Mark Zerto, just again, really amazing consciousness pioneers.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate being part of the Monroe community and being able to share these classes. But that's kind of how the Monroe Institute got started. They put together the binaural beats, and it was made into a sound science called HemiSync that the family owned for quite a number of years, and they just recently sold it to another person that is independently running HemiSync. It's not part of the Monroe family anymore. And now they're doing Monroe Sound Science with the experiments. The research people are working with Monroe Sound Science and into the gamma brainwave states. So we have different brainwave states that we all go into naturally, but being able to access the states on purpose is very helpful. And they'd had Zen Buddhist monks who had gone to the Monroe Institute, and when Bob was still alive, and talked to Bob and said, what you've done here, Mr. Monroe. And he said, well, I think I have. And they said, well, it took me 20 to 25 years of sitting practice to get to these states that you're getting people to in less than a week, with your Monroe Sound Science. So I think that's a pretty profound shortcut, although it doesn't give you the discipline that you get from the sitting practice that you would do as a transcendental meditator. But it does get you to these brainwave states. And I think sometimes that can be a difficulty for people because they so magically and easily get to that nirvana state of the blackness, the all that is, that's everything and nothing, that's kind of been a goal, and they so easily get to that space. And then once you're there, you have to travel with intention and with focus. So because it seems almost too easy with the Monroe Sound Science to get to these states,
right.
Then okay, now you've got to bring other tools. And the Monroe Institute has some really wonderful, effective tools that are very helpful. I really love sharing these classes. I've been training the outreach program. I took my outreach trainer in 2009. I went and took the MC Squared class with Joe Gallenberger and Patty Ray Avalon. Patty Ray Avalon has been my teacher for a lot of my classes when I went there. She's an amazing artist, and she's just lovely. She's almost everybody that I've met at Monroe, they're so kind and generous, and the way I really would love to see all of humanity.
Yes.
That we care about each other and we do things for each other, and it's lovely. It's a lovely community to be part of.
That's beautiful. So the Monroe Institute was started as sort of a study of consciousness and understanding these spiritual experiences that Bob was having, if I understand correctly. Now, when did the CIA get interested? That's a very curious little snippet there.
I did send you that document, and you can post that. It's a freely available document, and they did, I think it was in the 1980s. I'm not exactly sure on that, but I think it was in the 1980s that they started, maybe the late 70s, they started sending some of the military personnel that they had that had survived multiple actions or I don't even know the right military term to
Well,
use.
right, but near death experiences,
near death
basically.
type of things. So they recruited from those soldiers who had survived when many others didn't through different military actions. And so they recruited Joe McMonagle, who is now, he was remote viewer 001. Wow. And he's an amazing man. But he was recruited because he survived a number of military experiences, and they did send him to the Monroe to take the Monroe Institute's Gateway program and to learn in that space. And the document that I sent you that was written by one of the military personnel that was sent there is quite an amazing summary of it. And there were wonderful experiences that were had. And the movie The Men Who Stare at Goats, I don't know if you've watched that movie with George Clooney.
No, I haven't.
Anyway, when I was there taking a class, I think I was there taking MC Squared, actually. Yeah, MC Squared in 2009. That movie was just coming out, and they were talking about it because John Ronson had been sent to the Monroe Institute. He was a BBC reporter or something like that, and he'd been hired by the BBC to kind of poo-poo on the stupid American military that were training these psychic spies. And so he went to the Monroe Institute and actually did a successful remote viewing in the lab. So he didn't say too much in his book about Monroe because he was successful at actually remote viewing. Yeah. But remote viewing is a very disciplined practice, and even Joe said that he has to practice daily to keep his skill level at where it is, even though he's very, very gifted. But because he's been doing it so long, it is a practice, and our mind wants to fill in the blank for a lot of things with remote viewing. So a lot of it is being able to get that filling in the blanks part of our mind to stop doing that and only report on what it's actually getting in that expanded meditative state. So that takes a very disciplined mind, and it does take work and effort and energy, but it's all possible because we are all consciousness, and consciousness is interconnected, which is why we can do healing work with each other, which is why we can sometimes get, think about somebody and the phone rings and guess who's on the other end of the line.
Exactly, right? We're all connected.
We're interneted, even though we feel like we're separate in these separate physical bodies. We're actually interconnected in a way kind of like the Avatar movies. Where everything is interconnected. That's actually closer to what reality is, and science is beginning to discover that, and I find that fascinating.
Yes, absolutely. Me too. Well, theta healing, we use a lot of what we would call remote viewing to even scan inside the body, and yes, it's a practice, right? That's why there's a lot of classes with theta healing as well, for training on that and daily practice so you get better at it, right? So we understand that discipline that is needed for those things. So very cool. So now I will add the document you sent me to the show notes. So in the podcast, you can check that out. If the listeners are interested in signing up for my free newsletter, that's where you get these weekly podcasts and other little links in my newsletters on very interesting topics. Okay.
Yes, and I read them every week, and I so appreciate them. I'm so grateful to have access to your wisdom.
Oh, thank you.
You do talk about so many amazing things, so thank you for all that you're doing to get the understanding that consciousness is the primary part of what we are, and that's what continues on even after this physical lifetime.
Yes. And it's that part of us that's eternal and always is, always was, always will be, that is the truth of us. And to have those experiences are irreplaceable, right?
Absolutely.
Because then that gives you perspective of your human life, right? Because it's very easy for us to get so wrapped up in the little stuff. Look at the craziness in the world right now, right? There's a war in the Middle East, and Epstein files, and holy cats, right? And if you don't have a practice that keeps you kind of grounded and centered in who you really are, and your eternal
It
nature,
easily.
oh, yeah, I would be off kilter all the time if I didn't have that daily awareness and practice of that. Yeah, absolutely. So tell me a little bit more about the Gateway program. Now, I think you said in some of our emails that this used to be called the Stargate program. So very cool.
Well, Stargate was the military name that they had
Okay.
of. So the Gateway program was what the military secret group, Stargate group, was kind of. They sent their Stargate people to the Gateway at Monroe to take the classes.
I see.
So
I see. Interesting. Okay, cool. And what are some of the stories? Now, I know that you're certified by the Institute to teach these retreats, the Gateway retreats, and this is an introductory class, right? Could you tell us a bit more about the class and what we could experience?
I went and trained 4 Gateway classes, co-trained 4 Gateway classes at Monroe to get certified. I'm now an international residential trainer with the Monroe Institute.
Only one in Canada, right? Only one in Canada.
There's others in Canada. Yeah, there's
okay.
Sylvestre and there's others in Canada.
Okay.
Sylvestre teaches in French, and
Okay.
he's lovely. He's been doing them in Quebec for a long time, and he's really
cool.
great. And there are other international residential trainers here as well.
Oh, cool.
But I'm teaching them in Alberta, so
Yeah. Close for us BC folks and Alberta folks.
Yes.
So could you tell us a bit about the program? Is it 1 day, 2 days?
The Gateway is a 6-day residential retreat where you come and you basically park your car and leave it and don't go back to it for the full 6 days.
Yeah.
Everything is provided at the retreat center, all of your meals, all of the meditations. You just bring your comfy clothes and a curious attitude, and I facilitate the classes, and it builds. We learn on the first day. We learn about what Monroe terminology is focus level 10, which is the mind awake, body asleep state. And when you hear yourself snoring for the first time, it's quite fascinating.
Yeah.
you know you're in perfect focus 10 when you get that, and it's a state of conscious awareness where you can begin the exploration. So we do that the first day, and then we do focus 12, and then we move on to focus level 15, which is a state of no time. And it's a very interesting state to explore. And then we move up to focus level 21, and we explore that state, and then we have a day of kind of exploring, and then we all gather and close the experience. But during that, each person will have individual experiences, and there's no way of saying. Some people will have out-of-body experiences. Other people will have communications with non-physical energies. They'll have healing experiences. They'll have I've seen so many amazing stories come out of Gateway. And my husband and I shared the story about our Gateway. We went in 2008 to take Gateway. And
that's cool. He went with you. Yeah.
I shared the story of us going. My husband is an engineer and quite left-brained and lovely. And when we went to Monroe in 2008, he got so expanded and so intuitive that when we went back to Georgetown after, we were going to tour Georgetown, but he couldn't physically leave the hotel room because he was just being bombarded by feelings and emotions, and just he was so expanded and so open. I would go out and get meals, and we basically spent the 2 days we were going to tour Georgetown in the hotel, not doing much of anything except chatting with each other.
Well, that
which was lovely.
That expanded state can be overwhelming if it opens too quickly, right? But it's good you were there, because I think you had been training with the Monroe for a while, so you were like, it's going to be okay, right? Or no?
Well,
did you go together?
That was our first experience together in 2008, but I've been empathic my whole life. I came in that way.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of used to feeling like that. You're empathic as well, so you know how that is. But to suddenly, after a week of meditating, just be empathically open like that, it was quite a difficult thing for him to, because and he is, he's a very self-possessed man. Like he's just always been that way, and for him to have, opened like that was quite profound. And for me, after doing the Gateway, I was doing the Psyche healing modality, which is muscle testing at a chiropractic office in Okotoks, and I was seeing clients, and it actually took me 4 clients before I realized that my psychic gifts had been wide open.
Yeah.
At Gateway. So that was the result for me of Gateway. I like I said, I'd read Bob's books in 1979, and I was expecting, like I had this expectation that I was going to have this out-of-body experience, and and that sort of did happen, which I found out when I went back to do the MC Squared class, because I took MC Squared. I was up at Robert's Mountain Retreat, and I had this picture in my journal that I'd written of this lamp and this table. And so when I was up at Roberts Mountain, I looked all over the Nancy Penn Center in 2008 when we were there for the Gateway for this table and lamp, because I thought, ooh, evidence, right?
Yeah.
Because I like evidence.
Yes.
But I couldn't find this particular table and lamp the way that I drafted it. And I'm not an artist, believe me. But, I'd made it in my notebook, right, while I was in one of the meditations, and I just couldn't find it. But then when I was up the next year at the center up the Hill Roberts Mountain Retreat, that's where that lamp and table, and we were never up there. So some part of my consciousness was out exploring, and I was up there. Yeah. So I thought that was quite a lovely piece of evidence to get at MC Squared when I went back to take the next class. Yeah, which is why I like notebooks and journaling, because you just don't know, right? And if you're journaling and taking notes during some of these, then things do make sense a little bit later on.
Yes. Piece it together. And the human brain loves validation, right? Because that makes the experience more real for us, right? Where it's not that the out-of-body experiences aren't real, but they're out of our normal scope of understanding. So those little, validations, those little bits of proof and evidence, it just helps us go, oh my God, is this real? This is real. Oh my God.
It takes a while. Right? It really does, because this isn't something that we learn or get trained at school. Or, right? I mean, it's kind of been very fringe. I know when I first started doing this work 20 years ago, that you had to be careful who you spoke to about it, Now it's much more acceptable, just like other things, right?
Right.
So.
Yeah. Well, it's exciting. This is, I think, one of the big reasons we're here as humans, is to explore who we really are and understand who we really are, so that we remember we're not these little bodies. We're not this limited self that we're taught and conditioned to believe, right? Maybe you were scolded as a child that you're not good enough or whatever, and we believe these outside external things as our truth. But when you start to explore consciousness, you have to shed all of those programs. You have to let them go to understand those are just programs. Those are just experiences that you thought were true and collapsed into them a little bit, rather than understanding. It's almost like this reality of our physical experience almost becomes more of the dream than the expanded state. Right? Would you agree? Not that it's unreal, right? Yeah. But when you start to understand your expanded eternal self, the little hiccups, if you want to call them, don't become such a big deal to trip over. Does that make sense to you?
It does, and I would kind of express it as that when we get to a place of understanding what we've chosen to come into the human experience is to have experiences and understandings, and the consciousness part of us doesn't necessarily judge experiences the way the human would judge them. Exactly. So things that the human part of us would say are negative or scary or hurtful, actually they're just experiences that the consciousness is experiencing, and being able to view them from that expanded understanding is helpful when you're going through some of these. I lost my parent, like, just as an example. I have siblings, and my dad remarried, and I had a stepmom, and my mom had remarried, and I had a stepfather. So I grew up with these other parents, I mean, from the time I was 12, right? So I had 4 parents that, 2 dads and 2 moms. Like, my stepdad was my father in so many ways. I loved him as a father. And so having the experience of all 4 of those important people in my life departing in an 18-month period. They left one on top of the other, on top of the other. I mean, my stepfather departed first, and then my dad, and then my mom, and then my stepmother. And, within, that 18-month period, they were all gone.
Wow.
And I had a different perspective. Like, it really, I had the opportunity to watch how my siblings went through trauma after trauma.
Yes.
And that was how it felt. And for me, it was, I understood it from a broader perspective, and it was still traumatizing, believe me. I mean, you probably heard my voice. It hurts.
Yeah.
But I've since had, my stepfather in my dream holding my mother in his arms, singing to her. He never sang in life. And yet I've had these experiences which they're real to me, because you feel the presence of them, if that makes sense, in a way that they were as present in that expanded non-physical state as they were in life. And when you understand that consciousness does continue, and that they do interact with us in the ways that they can, it helps to ease the pain. When you think that departure is permanent and forever, and that's where the pain really is in that feeling of that separation. And I'm so grateful. I went and took the Lifeline class at Monroe, and after I took that, my mediumship gifts kind of opened. And so sometimes I'm able to access those gifts in conversations with people, and it's helpful for people to get those messages and to understand that, hey, this person that I love, they're not gone.
No.
They still exist on a non-physical level, and they're present, and they're looking out, and sometimes they'll make things happen, and I mean, there have been people that have had phone calls that somehow through the digital media, miracle things that show up.
Miracle things,
Many people would say are hard to believe. And again, if it's outside of your belief space, consciousness is never going to impose these things on you.
No.
Right?
No.
They're available, and they're miracles, and they're beautiful to witness. And
They are.
Sometimes they even stretch my...
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, I'm burning to tell a story, so I have to share this story. On that note of, they start to visit us and make things happen. So I was teaching a theta healing class called Intuitive Anatomy, and I teach out of my home sometimes. So I had students coming, but it was early mornings, so my husband and I were getting up and making our coffee and things like that. And I look, my husband, I'm watching him pour his coffee and everything, and we have a window above where our coffee is, and he's looking outside, and he just stops, like he just freezes. And he's like, he has this little quiver in his voice, and he's like, Maria, and I'm like, that little bit of fear in his voice, and I'm like, what? All of a sudden that tone wakes you up, and you walk over, and here it is. We had a wooden cover over our septic tank, and it was literally standing completely vertical on its side, which would have been like mechanically physics impossible. And he's like, "What's that?" My husband goes, "What's that? Did you do that? Did you stand that board completely vertical?" And it's just standing there.
Yeah.
And I tune in, right? I tune in and I'm like, "Oh, that's my dad. He's pointing at the septic field. He needs you to check it." my husband's like, like, just his face drops and he's like, "Oh, okay." So my husband goes to check it, and it was the pump had failed, and it was rising up, and it was going to backfill into our house, and we would have had septic all through our house when I was having my class. Well, my dad warned him so we could get it pumped out and all of that, so we avoided a big catastrophe. My husband never doubts anymore any of this stuff. He's like, you got to have people watching out for you on the other side, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so these, they can influence the physical, right? And just in case we missed that signal, my dad on the other side was telling spirits, because the friend taking my intuitive anatomy class, she was a medium as well. So she was putting on her makeup in the morning, and this construction guy was there, and he kept pointing at this drain hole, and blah, 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 and trying to tell her something. And she's like, "I don't know what you're talking about. I got to go to class. Like, just stop it." And then this all happened at the same time to tell us to check the drains, right? So my dad was working overtime that night to make sure that we weren't going to have a catastrophe in the class, right? Because you have 5 other women in the class going to the bathroom all the time, right?
Well, yeah.
It would have overflowed that day. It was crazy. But yeah, they can influence, and consciousness lives on, right? Always. Yeah.
And when those miracles happen, like I mean, I've had them in my own life, so I get it. I totally get it. I don't doubt it for a moment.
Nope, me neither. Me neither. And I love it. That's really what life's about. So you have a retreat coming up now. Your gateway in March, is it March or May? May is booked.
July. The July gateway is full, but I have a second trainer that I've got a waiting list, and if I can get enough sign-ups for the July to bring in the second trainer,
cool.
Then I can add spaces. But it's kind of a, you got to get X number to make the second trainer being able to come to work it out. So but I do still have spaces in the October gateway class. And I trained the one in at the Sanctum retreat last year, and it was a full class, and we had so much fun together. It was amazing. And the space is so beautiful, and we meditate together in the room on these beautiful leather seats with footstools, and the headphones, and everybody's, it's such a relaxing, lovely week. It's a whole eye day. It's a whole eye 6 days. It's awesome. And just talking with participants, and we still, they're still calling each other. It's like you develop these relationships in the course of a week, because these events happen, and things happen with one participant, and it's part of another participant's story, and they merge, and then they share, and it's like, this is what I got, and this is what and this is what we understand, and it's so cool. It is, and that's cool. The beauty of having the in-person retreats, and I'm so grateful to be able to share these in Alberta with participants, and to do this work. I just feel so blessed. And where is the retreat in Alberta? It's at the Sanctum retreat in Caroline, Alberta.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and I have spaces for the October one.
I know. I'm excited. I'm leaning towards it myself. I'm so excited.
I'm
So that's
so
October
looking
9th
forward to it.
and to the 15th. It is over
October 9th to the 15th.
over
And
the
I still have the
Thanksgiving
queen,
weekend.
yeah, the
but-
queen bedrooms with the ensuite baths. So there's still a few of those left. So those are
Okay.
really nice rooms.
Yeah.
I had some friends that took it last year with me, and they really loved their rooms with the
lovely.
with the ensuites and stuff. So
Lovely.
yeah, it's like I said, it's a beautiful space, 100 acres of forest. You can go and walk around.
Yeah.
It's just a beautiful holiday.
Yeah.
Exploring consciousness together with a group of like-minded people that become friends. And on the last day, one of the participants was really interested in the Stephen Greer and had the app for calling in. And we had lights show up, and the people caught it on their video cameras. And
Yeah.
it was pretty incredible the last night of the class. So
Very fun.
it was
very fun.
We did have some pretty profound experiences.
And that's the coolness of the group, right? Because everybody brings it and opens up some people's minds to what's possible, and it's very cool.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have these links in the show notes of the podcast. So make sure you check out Beth Haley's website as well as the Gateway Experience. You were going to lead us on a quick little abundance meditation. Would you like to do that now?
I will, absolutely.
Okay. Perfect.
So if you just sit back, close your eyes, take a deep, gentle breath in. Breathe in calmness. Breathe out any tension. Breathe in through your nose, and as you exhale through your mouth like you're blowing out a candle. Feel your body relax. Imagine with each breath out that you're releasing any worries, any doubts, anything that no longer serves you. Take another deep breath in and release. Feel yourself sinking deeper and deeper into a calm, relaxed state. You are ready to welcome abundance to come to you. Now picture a place where you feel completely safe, warm, and at peace. It might be a beautiful beach with gentle waves rolling in, or perhaps a cozy room with fireplace and soft, comforting light, or a peaceful field with flowers and a gentle breeze. Take a moment to picture this sacred place in your mind and feel its warmth, its calm, and the presence of the highest version of yourself. Now, as you settle into this place, imagine a golden light appearing above you. This golden light represents pure abundance, unlimited wealth and financial freedom. It's warm, soothing, and filled with the energy of prosperity. This golden light begins to gently flow down, surrounding you, filling the space around you. Allow yourself to feel its warmth, its power, and the incredible abundance it's bringing to you. As this golden light surrounds you, feel it beginning to move into your body, starting at the top of your head and moving slowly down through your shoulders, your chest, your arms, and your hands. Feel it moving down your torso, into your legs, and finally through to your feet. Every cell in your body now is filled with this golden light of wealth and prosperity. Let yourself absorb this light completely. You are becoming one with this energy of abundance. You are activating your own abundance flowing, unlocking the powerful flow of wealth into your life. Feel these words resonate deep within you, letting them settle into your mind and body. I am worthy of wealth. I am a magnet for abundance, and I welcome prosperity into my life in every way. Money flows to me freely, easily, and naturally. Take a moment to bask in the feeling of these words. You are open. You deserve to receive all the wealth and abundance the universe has in store for you. Every part of you is worthy to receive this abundance. Money flows to you in unexpected and expected ways. Now imagine looking into your future. See yourself as someone who is completely free, financially abundant, living a life filled with health, joy, wealth, and prosperity. See yourself in this abundant future, standing tall, feeling confident, and feeling so much gratitude. Imagine yourself surrounded by everything you could ever need. You feel secure and calm, filled with gratitude, knowing that you are supported and that you are healthy, wealthy, and well in every way. Notice the feelings of peace, satisfaction, and joy that come from this feeling of complete financial freedom. Feel how natural, how effortless it is for money to flow to you. Picture your bank accounts overflowing, your opportunities expanding, and your financial goals effortlessly coming to life. Now let this deepen even further. Repeat these words in your own mind, allowing them to sink in deeply. I am worthy of wealth. My family is worthy of wealth. Every part of me is ready to receive abundance from the limitless, universal flow. Money comes to me in ways that feel good, ways that uplift me and those I love. I am open to receive, and I receive abundantly. Each time you say these words, feel your connection to wealth growing stronger, becoming more natural, more effortless. You are shedding any beliefs or worries that might have blocked this flow. Let go of all old fears and beliefs about money being scarce. You are powerful, and you know that you can attract all the wealth you desire. Now take a moment to feel gratitude for the abundance that is flowing into your life and continuing to flow ever more abundantly to you and to those you love. Picture the opportunities, experiences, and freedom that wealth will bring to you. Feel the joy of both giving and receiving all the abundance that is now flowing easily, gracefully, and effortlessly into your life. Know that every time you think of money, you'll feel this deep gratitude and confidence, knowing that abundance flows to you easily and naturally. Gratitude opens the door to even more blessings. Take a few moments to say thank you to the universe, to yourself, and to the endless opportunities that are now on their way to you. Now let's solidify this abundance. Imagine that golden light expanding, growing brighter, filling every part of your being with energy and confidence. You are now aligned with the energy of wealth, abundance, and health. You are a natural magnet for money, and it flows to you effortlessly from every direction. As you slowly come back to full awareness, feel this sense of confidence, abundance, and joy within you. Know that you carry this energy with you wherever you go. From now on, every time you think of wealth, you will feel calm, confident, and completely at ease, because wealth is your natural state. When you're ready, take a deep breath in, feeling this new feeling of energy and abundance flowing to you. As you exhale, gently open your eyes, bringing the thoughts and feelings and a deep knowing that limitless energy and abundance flow to you and through you. Fully aware and ready to receive all the prosperity that is on its way to you. Welcome back.
That was beautiful. Thank you. Such a beautiful frequency to pull in and live in that frequency. I love it.
Yes.
All right, my dear friend, are there any closing statements you want to make? Anything you want to tell our audience?
You can go to my website and sign up for my Monroe community group. I do those free. We do 2 meditations twice a month on Wednesday evenings, Mountain Time, 6 till 8.
Okay.
We have a little gathering and we chat with each other and share things that are going on or things that we want to share with the group.
And that's online? That's available online?
On Zoom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
So you just go to my website and sign up for that, and then I include you in the invitation, and you'll get the email inviting you to the Wednesday class on a Monday from my website. And there's all kinds of resources on my website if you want to go and have a look, bethhaley.com.
Yeah.
And love to hear from anybody that has any questions. I love answering questions, so feel free to send me an email, and I'm happy to answer questions about anything. So
I love it. Well, thank you for joining us today. It was such an honor to have you, and thank you for sharing your beautiful light and wisdom with the world and your consciousness with all of us. So wishing
thank you for allowing me to be here and to share it with you and with your group. So thank you, Maria.
Thank you, sweetie. All right, I'm going to wrap up our little podcast here. So thank you for joining us, everyone, and have a beautiful and blessed Monday.